right, all you insomniatic TV channel surfers out there tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And apparently, according to the Maestro, the whole Raw Thunderdome thing is going to take place as of this Friday for SummerSlam, for NXT, and into next Monday. So it looks like they're going stadium with this. Not bad. Now, if only we can get that guy from the Thunderdome to be actually in it, that would definitely make my day. But besides Raw's version of the Thunderdome that'll take place next week, folks, I think it's time for us to go into another channel surfing edition of As Seen on TV. And the show we have up on the plate for this week, folks, is none other than He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And for those who are wondering out there, we're going to review the 2002 installment of this show for this week because we've only seen, 3 or 5 of the original episodes. Unfortunate, but yeah, this was around the time when Cartoon Network was undergoing the giant change and decided not to show all the classic TV shows that I remembered when I was just a wee little lad watching it on the TV screen. And plus, I saw more Thunder of Barbaria than I did this show, but nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, the meat and potatoes of this said show, which would see a failed attack by Keldor and his forces being thwarted by Captain Randor, who would go on to become king, seeing the land of Eternia living on in peace until Skeletor, who was formerly Keldor, going on and ruining that peace by destroying the wall and trying to bring hellfire and doom to the world of Eternia, only for Prince Adam to discover the ancient power from Brxxto to protect this land once again from the forces of evil. And with those meat and potatoes properly explained, folks, what do we like about this show? Well, one thing that we loved about this show, besides the medieval times music that was featured with it, with a little bit of rock in the background once it reached the second season, but another thing that I loved about this show had to have been all of the origin stories around every single character in this said show, from Prince Adam to even Skeletor on how he came to be, and even Man of Arms, Too Bad, Many Faces. Everybody who was involved in this, who were, in my opinion, Dick Tracy medieval villains that worked alongside with Skeletor, all had their own story to tell, and during this show, they told them wonderfully. And speaking of characters during this show, folks, not only the fact that you had Kathleen Barr, who played Evil Lynn during this show, who also was Dot Matrix in Reboot, and was also featured as Marie Kanker and Kevin during the classic show of Ed, Edd n Eddy, but you also had Lisa Ann Beatley, who was featured during this show, who was also a part of Doc Hat's Roots, Black Lagoon, Brain Powered, and a couple of other cool animes along the lines of Dragon Ball Z, and even a part of the show Inuyasha. And this show also featured Gary Chalk, who was also a part of the show Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and was even a part of the said show or movie known as The Fly 2, and even a part of Freddy vs. Jason, along with other great movies throughout the years, including Sonic the Hedgehog. And along with them, you also had Brian and Paul Dobson, who was featured during the show. And by the way, Paul Dobson was featured during the show that we should have reviewed this year, along the lines of G.I. Joe Extreme, and also featured during the show of Reboot. And Brian, his brother, was featured during the shows Transformers, Armada, and Cybertron, along with being a part of several different versions of Mobile Suit Gundam as well. And also featured in Inuyasha and Dragon Ball Z on top of that. And with the fact that the Maestro said we'll be here all night trying to mention all the voice actors that was featured during this show, which one was my favorite character? Well, on the good guy side, I would have to say Man-at-Arms was probably one of my favorite characters on that side, and on the other side, Many Faces were the villains. Yeah, I don't know why, but the fact of seeing his face spin around that many times with different emotions on him sort of reminded me of Hexadecimal from Reboot. Yeah, I don't know why, but I always cling to those sort of characters. And one of my favorite episodes of this show would have to be the pilot episode of this show, which not only explained the origins of the king, but also explained how He-Man got his powers, his tiger, and the fact that their group was almost broken up before it could even start, because Skeletor would actually plot against them and would try to plot a traitor in the ranks amongst their said group for the one who brought back Skeletor, which would get snuffed out and the group would live on, but at the same time really almost put a monkey wrench in the plans of the Master of the Universe along with He-Man. Now, this installment of He-Man, folks, would kick off as of August 16th of 2002 and would come to an unfortunate end as of January 10th of 2004, which would make this show as of this week, folks, 18 years old since its first debuted episode. Nice! And for those who are wondering out there, this show will make a return as of 2021 entitled Masters of the Universe Revelation that will take place in part of Netflix. But outside of all of that, folks, this show would be a part of Toonami before Toonami was canceled and would then get shipped off the boomerang never to be seen again, and is still available on DVD and even on YouTube for a couple of you fans out there to watch. Yeah, so He-Man still lives on in the internet, which I would consider as the Masters of the Universe at this point. And seeing the fact that we don't know how to review TV shows along the lines of TV Guide or any of those other famous TV reviewers you know of out there, we say this. If you want to go ahead and watch a show that features many of famous voice actors from other shows you may have watched throughout your childhood, gathering together to try to tell the origin stories of how Eternia came to be and its villains that tried to terrorize it at a moment's notice for a prince to become a man trying to take on a skeleton-headed fool who tried to take on the power of Brxxto while he had the power of it, then I recommend you go out there, pick up your TV channel remotes, and watch that show. And trust me, folks, you'll definitely learn a thing or two about He-Man, just like I did when I first watched it. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into this music, and when we return, we'll be back with more of this streetlight delight as the Tuesday Night Special rolls on right after this. So don't go watching those reruns just yet, folks, and stay tuned.